Property taxes, homeowners insurance, and maintenance expenses were the top reason for mortgage delinquencies in 2024, with 37% of financial experts citing these hidden costs as the biggest risk to homeowners. Yet these expenses rarely factor into the rent versus buy calculators online. The truth: the mortgage system was designed for a workforce that stayed in one location for decades, a reality that's rapidly disappearing. Today I'm showing you the actual math behind homeownership in the remote work era, and the financial freedom that's possible when you break free from conventional thinking. The mortgage myth: what banks don't tell you. Wait, did you know that a $300,000 mortgage can actually cost you over $500,000 by the time you pay it off? That's not a typo. You're literally paying for your house almost twice over. But this shocking reality is carefully hidden behind friendly terms like affordable monthly payments and building equity. Here's what's really happening. When you sign those mortgage papers, you're not just agreeing to pay back $300,000. You're signing up for a financial relationship that banks have meticulously engineered to maximize their profits while keeping you in the dark about the true cost. Most homebuyers fixate on just two numbers: the purchase price and the monthly payment. Can I afford $1,500 a month? Seems like the only question that matters. But this tunnel vision is exactly what mortgage lenders count on. They know if you saw the complete picture up front, you might run for the hills. Let's break down what actually happens with a typical $300,000 30-year mortgage at today's rates. In the first year alone, around 80% of your payment goes straight to interest, not building equity in your home. That means if you're making a $1,500 monthly payment, only about $300 is actually reducing your loan balance. The rest? Pure profit for the bank. This front-loading of interest is brilliantly engineered through amortization schedules, complex payment structures designed to extract maximum interest early in the loan. It's no accident that mortgage calculators prominently display your monthly payment while burying the total interest paid in the fine print, if they show it at all. During the first 5 years of your mortgage, you'll build shockingly little equity through your payments. On that $300,000 loan, after 60 monthly payments, that's $90,000 out of your pocket. You'll have only reduced your principal by about $25,000. The other $65,000? Straight to the bank's pocket. Think about that for a second. 5 years of faithfully making payments, and you've barely made a dent in what you actually owe. This is why moving or refinancing early in a mortgage term can be such a financial disaster. You've paid thousands in interest with minimal equity to show for it. What's even more eye-opening is looking at how this plays out visually. If I asked you to guess what percentage of your mortgage payment goes toward building equity in your first year, what would you say? 50%? 40%? The shocking reality is that it's often less than 20%. Your payment is overwhelmingly feeding bank profits, not your net worth. By year 10 of your mortgage, things improve slightly, but you're still paying nearly 60% interest on each payment. It's only around year 15 that you finally cross the threshold where more of your payment goes to principal than interest. Let's put this in perspective. On a $300,000 mortgage with a 6% interest rate over 30 years, your total payments will add up to approximately $647,000. That's $347,000 in interest, more than the actual price of the home. Even at today's reasonable 6% interest rate, you're paying for your house almost twice over. The banking industry has mastered the art of making this enormous cost seem like a normal, even beneficial arrangement. They've successfully normalized the idea that spending 30 years paying more than double the price of an asset is somehow a smart financial move. And they've done it by keeping your focus squarely on that manageable monthly payment, never the shocking lifetime cost. What's worse, these calculations assume you'll stay in the home for the full 30 years, which few Americans actually do. The average homeowner moves every 8 to 10 years, which means they're caught in the high-interest, low-equity building phase of multiple mortgages throughout their lives. This cycle repeatedly extracts maximum interest while minimizing equity building, exactly as the banking system designed it. The hidden costs that devour your wealth. As if paying double for your house wasn't painful enough, there's a financial time bomb ticking away that most homebuyers never see coming. In states like Texas, homeowners' insurance rates have skyrocketed nearly 60% in just 5 years, an alarming trend that's playing out across the country. These insurance hikes are just the tip of a very expensive iceberg of costs that your mortgage lender conveniently forgot to mention. When you're signing those mortgage papers, the focus is always on that monthly payment, principal and interest. But here's the shocking reality. That payment is often just half of what you'll actually shell out each month to keep a roof over your head. The other half? It's being devoured by a growing army of expenses that are increasing faster than both inflation and your paycheck. Let's start with property taxes, the silent wealth killer that never stops growing. While your mortgage stays fixed, property taxes across major U.S. markets have consistently outpaced income growth year after year. This means that even if you got a modest raise this year, your property tax bill probably ate it up, and then some. In high-tax areas, some homeowners are paying more in property taxes over 30 years than they paid for their house in the first place. Then there's homeowners insurance, a cost that's becoming downright predatory in some regions. California homeowners have seen rates jump by nearly 44% in just 5 years. Florida, also up by 43%. These aren't small, incremental increases. They're budget-destroying jumps that arrive in your mailbox with little warning. Climate change is accelerating this trend, with insurance companies hiking rates or pulling out of entire regions due to increased natural disaster risks. But that's just taxes and insurance, you might say. I can handle those. Well, brace yourself for the maintenance monster. Financial experts recommend following what's called the 1 to 4% rule. Budget between 1% and 4% of your home's value every year just for maintenance. On a $300,000 home, that's $3,000 to $12,000 annually, not for upgrades or improvements, but just to keep everything working. What does that look like in practice? It's the water heater that dies during your morning shower. It's the roof that starts leaking after a heavy storm. It's the HVAC system that gives up during the hottest week of summer. These aren't optional expenses. They're urgent necessities that can't wait for your next bonus or tax refund. And if you thought you could escape by moving into a nice, neat condo or planned community, think again. Homeowners associations, HOAs, are notorious for fee increases that far exceed inflation. Even worse are the special assessments. Those surprise bills when the HOA decides the building needs a new elevator or the community pool needs resurfacing. These can run into the thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, due immediately, with no option to say no. The financial reality gets even grimmer when you realize that nearly half of all homeowners report being blindsided by costs that were never fully explained during the buying process. You budgeted perfectly for your mortgage payment, but did anyone mention that your utilities would be triple what you paid in your apartment? Or that maintaining that beautiful yard would cost hundreds each month in water bills, fertilizer, and equipment? What's especially insidious about these costs is how they silently erode the equity you think you're building. Remember that small portion of your mortgage payment that actually goes toward principal. These escalating expenses can easily exceed that amount, meaning you're effectively losing financial ground every month despite owning more of your home on paper. Let's put this in perspective. If you're paying $1,800 for your mortgage, but another $1,700 for taxes, insurance, maintenance, HOA fees, and higher utilities, your true housing cost is $3,500 per month. And unlike your mortgage, which eventually gets paid off, these other costs never end. In fact, they only increase over time. The math becomes even more disheartening when you consider opportunity cost. That extra $1,700 per month invested over 30 years at a modest 7% return would grow to over $2 million. Instead, it simply disappears into the black hole of homeownership, never to be seen again. Mortgages, a product designed for a different era. That vanishing $2 million isn't just a financial tragedy. It's a symptom of something far more fundamental. The traditional 30-year mortgage wasn't designed for you or me. It was created for our grandparents who lived in a completely different work world. Let's travel back to the 1950s for a moment. The post-World War II era was booming with suburban expansion, and the American dream took physical form in cookie-cutter homes with white picket fences. The mortgage system we still use today was specifically engineered for this era, a time when people joined a company at 22 and received a gold watch at 65 after working there for their entire career. The 30-year mortgage made perfect sense in that world. You'd buy a house near your factory or office, settle in for decades, and slowly pay it off while working for the same employer. Geographic stability wasn't just common, it was expected. Your mortgage and your career were perfectly aligned. Fast forward to today, and we're trying to jam a square peg into a round hole. The modern workforce changes jobs every 4.1 years on average. Think about that. Between when you start your mortgage and when you finally pay it off, you might work for 7, 8, or even 10 different companies. Yet we're still signing up for housing products designed for a bygone era of employment stability. This creates a painful mismatch between how we work and how we live. Imagine getting a great job offer in another city just 3 years after buying your home. Financially, it's a disaster. You'll face closing costs and realtor fees totaling 6 to 10% of your home's value when selling. On a $300,000 house, that's up to $30,000 vanishing in transaction costs alone. Even worse, during those first few years, you've barely built any equity. Remember how the beginning of a mortgage is almost all interest? This means you're selling just as you start to make progress on actually owning the place. It's like running on a financial treadmill where you pay thousands in fees and walk away with almost nothing to show for it. I recently spoke with Jessica, a software developer who bought a home in Austin in 2019. When a dream job opportunity came up in Seattle just 2 years later, she faced a brutal choice: pass on career advancement or take a significant financial hit. After paying $25,000 in realtor fees and closing costs, I walked away with less money than my initial down payment, she told me. It felt like I was penalized for advancing my career. Jessica's story isn't unusual. The modern knowledge economy demands mobility and flexibility, the exact opposite of what the traditional mortgage system rewards. Think of all the tech workers, healthcare professionals, and consultants whose careers depend on geographic flexibility. They're playing a housing game with rules designed for factory workers who never change companies. This industrial-era financial product assumes you'll remain rooted in one spot for decades, but modern career advancement often requires mobility. It's as if we're still using landline phones in a smartphone world. The mortgage system penalizes precisely the behavior that drives success in today's job market: adaptation and mobility. The numbers tell the story clearly. A professional who relocates for work every 5 to 7 years will repeatedly incur those 6 to 10% transaction costs while building minimal equity. Over a career, this can translate to hundreds of thousands in lost wealth. All because our housing financial products don't match our work reality. Remote work has only highlighted this fundamental disconnect. Many professionals are now questioning, why lock yourself into a 30-year financial commitment tied to a specific geographic location when your income no longer depends on being there? It's a question that would have made no sense to the generation the mortgage was designed for. Consider how dramatically our workforce has changed. In the 1950s, the average worker stayed at a company for 20-plus years. Job stability was the norm, not the exception. Housing and career decisions were made with decades-long time horizons. Today's dynamic economy demands agility and adaptation, qualities the traditional mortgage actively discourages. The mortgage system has barely evolved while our work lives have transformed completely. We're trying to navigate the 21st century economy with housing financial products built for the industrial age. It's like trying to compete in Formula One while driving a Model T Ford. The remote work revolution, freedom from geographic constraints. Just as that Model T Ford was eventually replaced by better vehicles, a transformative shift in how we work has arrived that's fundamentally changing our relationship with housing. Remote work isn't just a temporary pandemic solution. It's completely rewriting the rules about where we can live and how we earn. The numbers tell a staggering story. Before 2019, less than 6% of Americans worked remotely. By 2021, that figure had more than tripled. Now in 2024, approximately 1/3 of U.S. employees engage in some form of remote work. This isn't a blip, it's a seismic economic shift that's reshaping housing markets nationwide. Think about what this means. Your earning potential is no longer chained to your zip code. For generations, we've accepted the reality that high-paying jobs cluster in expensive cities. Want that 6-figure tech salary? Better be prepared to pay $3,000 a month for a tiny apartment in San Francisco. Dreaming of that Wall Street bonus? Hope you can stomach New York City housing costs. But remote work has shattered that equation. Today, you can earn that San Francisco tech salary while living in rural Tennessee, where homes cost $200,000. You can collect that New York finance paycheck while enjoying the space and affordability of Charlotte or Jacksonville. This geographic arbitrage, earning in expensive markets while living in affordable ones, creates unprecedented financial opportunities. The Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco found that remote work accounted for a whopping 60% of housing price growth during the pandemic. This statistic reveals something profound. Where we choose to live is dramatically shifting based on this new work reality. Nearly half of remote workers who moved to a different state cited housing as their primary motivation. We're witnessing a great migration. Remote workers are fleeing expensive coastal cities for more affordable destinations that offer better quality of life. Places like Austin, Denver, and Nashville saw early waves, but now the trend has expanded to Charlotte, Raleigh, Orlando, and Jacksonville. These cities are experiencing population booms precisely because remote work makes them viable options for high-earning professionals. The impact extends beyond these emerging hotspots. Rural areas and smaller markets are also seeing housing price increases as incoming remote workers, who tend to be wealthier than the local population, drive up demand. The freedom to work from anywhere is redistributing population in ways that would have been unimaginable just 5 years ago. Certain industries have embraced location independence more than others. Tech companies led the charge, with giants like Twitter, Square, and Shopify adopting remote work as a permanent strategy. But the trend has expanded across finance, marketing, design, customer service, and consulting. Any knowledge work that doesn't require physical presence has potential for remote arrangements. This shift is creating fascinating opportunities for individuals. Consider Emma, a marketing director who kept her $130,000 Boston salary when she relocated to rural Maine. Her mortgage payment dropped from $3,200 to $1,400 per month for a house twice the size with an ocean view. Or take Marcus, a software engineer earning Silicon Valley wages while living in Boise, Idaho, saving over $2,500 monthly on housing costs alone. The housing transformation goes beyond just cost. Remote workers are prioritizing different features in their homes. Dedicated office spaces have become essential. Outdoor areas, natural light, and overall comfort take precedence when your home doubles as your workplace. Why commute to a dreary office when you can work from a sunlit porch overlooking mountains or beaches? Companies fueling this shift understand the mutual benefits. They access wider talent pools while reducing expensive office footprints. Employees gain freedom and improved quality of life. The arrangement works precisely because modern technology makes collaboration possible from anywhere with an internet connection. This revolution completely upends traditional homeownership calculations. When your income isn't tied to location, housing becomes a lifestyle choice rather than an economic necessity. You're no longer forced to spend astronomical sums to live near high-paying jobs. You can choose affordable markets while maintaining your earning potential. For the first time in modern history, millions of workers are experiencing true location freedom. They can prioritize family proximity, climate preferences, outdoor activities, or cultural amenities without sacrificing career advancement. They can escape crowded, expensive cities without taking pay cuts. They can pursue housing arrangements that truly align with their values rather than their employer's headquarters location. The down payment opportunity cost, the silent wealth killer. This freedom of location has unlocked a financial blind spot most of us never consider. What if that $60,000 down payment you're saving for a home isn't building wealth, but actually destroying it? While banks and real estate agents celebrate your journey toward homeownership, they conveniently ignore a $1 trillion math problem hiding in plain sight. That down payment sitting in your house isn't just sitting there, it's actively costing you money. Big money. Money that could transform your financial future if deployed differently. Let's run the numbers that mortgage lenders hope you never calculate. That $60,000 down payment invested in basic S&P 500 index funds over 30 years could grow to over $1 million. Not a typo. $1 million from that single chunk of cash you thought was responsibly locking into a house. And that's assuming just the average annual market return of about 10% that the S&P 500 has delivered historically. Meanwhile, what's happening to that same money when it's tied up in your home? The average house appreciates at just 3 to 5% annually. meaning your equity growth significantly underperforms what that same money could be doing in the market. Your safe real estate investment is actually the riskier bet when it comes to building long-term wealth. But at least I can tap into my home equity. I hear you saying, this is where the banks have sold us another costly illusion. Home equity is fundamentally illiquid. It's trapped in your walls, floors, and roof until you either sell the home or take on more debt to access it. Want to use that equity you've built? You'll need a HELOC or cash-out refinance, both of which come with a parade of fees. Closing costs, appraisal fees, origination charges, and of course, interest rates that put more money in the bank's pocket. Your equity suddenly doesn't seem so valuable when you're paying thousands just to access your own money. Let's look at real people who've discovered this hidden opportunity cost. One financial independence seeker decided to skip home buying entirely, instead investing his down payment in a diversified portfolio of index funds. The result? He reached financial independence years earlier than his homeowning friends, with significantly more flexibility and liquidity in his financial life. In another case, a couple decided to rent instead of buy, putting their $60,000 down payment into a balanced portfolio of stocks and bonds. After 15 years, their investment had grown so substantially that they could eventually purchase a home outright. No mortgage needed. They effectively skipped the 30-year debt cycle altogether by understanding the true opportunity cost of trapping money in a house. The psychology behind down payments is fascinating. We've been taught that putting money into a house is building something, while investing in the market feels abstract or even gambling-like to many people. This psychological trick keeps us making financially suboptimal decisions year after year, decade after decade. What's even more powerful about keeping your down payment invested is the flexibility it provides. That million-dollar nest egg can be accessed anytime, for any reason, without asking a bank's permission or paying them fees. It can fund education, emergencies, opportunities, or even a home purchase later. On your terms, not a bank's. Here's what's really happening. When you lock that $60,000 into a house, you're effectively taking $1 million pay cut over your lifetime. You're sacrificing future wealth for the psychological comfort of homeownership today. The banking industry is banking on you never doing this math, because once you see the numbers, the decision becomes startlingly clear. Consider this. Would you trade $1 million for the right to say, I own my home, even though the bank actually owns it until the mortgage is paid? Would you sacrifice a seven-figure sum for the privilege of handling your own maintenance issues and paying property taxes? When framed this way, the traditional path to homeownership begins to look less like the American dream and more like rent versus buy. The calculation banks don't want you to see. That wealth transfer mechanism doesn't stop with down payments. It extends into the very tools we use to make our housing decisions. Ever notice how nearly every rent versus buy calculator conveniently omits critical costs that make homeownership look like a steal when it's actually a potential money pit? Let me pull back the curtain on these calculators. If you've ever used one, you probably notice they almost universally push you toward buying. This isn't an accident. These calculators are often created by banks, real estate companies, and mortgage lenders, the very industries that profit when you sign on that dotted line. When you dig into how these calculators work, you'll find they systematically minimize or completely exclude major expenses that homeowners face. It's like comparing the cost of a car while only counting the monthly payment and ignoring insurance, gas, maintenance, and depreciation. Take maintenance costs, for example. Most calculators either completely ignore them or drastically underestimate them. A comprehensive calculation should include that 1 to 4% of your home's value you'll spend annually keeping everything from falling apart. On a $300,000 home, that's thousands of dollars every year that most calculators pretend doesn't exist. Property taxes get the same treatment. These calculators might acknowledge them initially, but fail to account for how they increase over time, often at rates that outpace both inflation and income growth. In many high-tax areas, homeowners are shocked to discover their property tax bills doubling within a decade. Then there's homeowners insurance, another expense that's frequently downplayed. These calculators rarely account for insurance rates skyrocketing in many regions, especially those affected by climate change. They show you today's rates without mentioning how they're trending sharply upward. But the most deceptive omission in these calculators? The opportunity cost of your down payment. Think about it. When you put $60,000 down on a house, that money isn't just gone from your checking account. It's also not growing in investments that could potentially yield significantly higher returns. A truly comprehensive calculation needs to include everything: mortgage payments, principal and interest, property taxes, homeowner's insurance, regular maintenance, major repairs, HOA fees if applicable, and the opportunity cost of your down payment and closing costs. When financial experts run these complete calculations, the results often tell a very different story than the oversimplified calculators. Over a 5-year period, renting frequently comes out ahead financially because of the lower upfront costs and the ability to invest the difference in higher return assets. This advantage becomes even more pronounced over a 10-year time frame, especially in markets where home prices aren't guaranteed to rise consistently. While homeowners are pouring money into maintenance and property taxes, renters who diligently invest their savings can build substantial wealth without the headaches of homeownership. Transaction costs make this equation even worse for homeowners. If you sell within the first 5 to 7 years, those hefty closing costs and realtor fees can erase any equity you've built, often leaving you with less money than if you'd rented and invested the difference. This explains why many financial experts are challenging the conventional always by wisdom. For younger individuals with uncertain job stability, or those who want to maintain flexibility for career opportunities, renting while investing aggressively often proves the more financially sound decision.